Welcome back to Lady Cadence Island, and today we're going to talk about landscaping, specifically flowering bushes that are meant to go together and be arranged in different ways. Now, of course, I've got my pathways. I always try to use flower pathways whenever they're going in this direction, when I have a path that does that, because they're beautiful, and number two, of course, they're worth more flowers than just a generic path is, but of course they only go one way. I also like to kind of fence off items in a balanced way with hedges and flowers. The goal, of course, here is I've got items that kind of taper down. So these bushes together, the springtime blooms, I like to have them as big corner items, and then the bougainvilleas are kind of a nice little fence type hedge. They set things off nicely. But what I'd really like to focus on today are these flowers. A lot of people have asked how I get these flowers because it looks like it's a different one. Like if you notice right around this hedge here, we've got what looks to be a different type of border that surrounds it versus these flowers over here, but they're actually the same kind. It just depends on how you put them together. It is just a combination of this yellow flower planter and this white flower planter, because when you combine the white flower planter with another one like it, it turns into these red ones. So if you can see, if I move that out, see, that's just a white one. But when it's connected and they all connect together, they can make some really cool things. So let's go up here to the back of my island where I am kind of prepping for the August seasonal set, which is the Venetian set. So I've already got my buildings all combined over here that look like they would go with that Venetian style a little bit more. And then for now, because I don't have all the items yet and the new decorations, I have a lot of flowers just to make it look pretty, because I can't have stuff just stacked in and not looking pretty. Again, this is a different example of how you can separate these out. I like to put these in the center with two on the edge. Do you see like that? Because it always bunches out that yellow flower a lot, just makes it really bushy and full. But then you have these nice little edges, and it ends with these little mini white flowers then. It looks like they're separate, but it's actually just, again, a fuller one like that. But it's when it's combined, it turns into a little end point. So let's take some of those out, and then I'll just show you other ways that you can arrange them. Even right here, you see, this is just a really pretty way of doing it here, where you've got the white interspersed with a bougainvillea. I think that looks really pretty. The lupines are always gorgeous. They don't connect with anything though. Now, let's pull these white ones out as well, and I'll show you other ways to kind of combine these down here. Let's just start putting them around. Okay, here again, you're connecting it with it's right beside that one, so it's automatically going to connect. I'm going to pull it so it doesn't. These create little circles. That's so cool, isn't it? You can actually do little figure eights with them if you have 6. But now let's take out these middle ones here. Take out one and you've got a U shape, which makes really nice spot to highlight one item. Now that's what I did over here. See, I've got those pretty tulips are in the center, and it's arched around with 3 of the yellow planters and then 2 of the white ones to make this beautiful arch shape. And then the tulips fill in the rest in the square section that it creates for me. So that's one way you can do that. Or you can, again, take that out completely, and let me just show you from this angle what it looks like to put them together. Like that. See, so that's another way you can do it. Really pretty. Again, the point is you're trying to highlight other higher flower count decoration items and other buildings. This is just filler space. So there's so many things you can do here. Let me go back up here again to this. Now these tulips, they were a little harder to place because you need a squared off area for them. You could also put them up here in place of this tree if you wanted, where it's kind of a squared off section, but they don't look as good by themselves. Like if I put it here, it looks more random. You could stick it in here in between those. That would make a pretty border if you had more of them. Unfortunately, though, they were only given in a challenge, so you can't just get these from the store. I wish they had those beautiful tulips in the permanent store. That would be amazing if they did. So again, I've got these tall planters as kind of the borders, and then putting the in between, we've got just alternating in between the yellow planters and the bougainvillea bushes, which I like. And of course, again, just adding these in a purposeful order just looks really pretty, and you can arrange them in so many different ways. It's awesome just to get all the different styles going. So again, I like to put the yellow ones in the middle of these. They're big bushy middle centers there. See how that makes a corner if you have them without something on the edge. So that can be nice if you're going for it. Let me move that out of the way. See how that makes it like a little triangle? You can do things around that. Or it can make that edge. You can make corners that way. I'm going to move this. I need my other... What happened to it? White flower. I do not know how I managed to do that. Oh, I know what I've done. This goes here, and these, of course, go in the center. That's how I had them. So you've got your white ones all on the edge, and then it's just a really poofy, beautiful yellow and orange centers right there. So that's how I had it. I like it this way a lot. I've got my cactuses here. This is from the Botanical Bliss set. These are perfect for edging. Same with these. I love that they had beautiful squares, especially against the tile, because you need something that works nicely in a squared off way by the tile. So same with these cactuses, and they're ordered, you know, it's symmetrical, but they just work nicely that way. Here's another way of doing the yellow and the white flowers. So we've kind of got like a little T shape going on here. I always, again, like to have those in the center because the yellow ones, because again, let me show you what it does. If I had it this way, now this is fine if you want to just do all of the white bushes that, you know, give you the red as well. Let me show you that. Okay. So that's fine. That's pretty the way it is. I wouldn't have this on the end though, because see, that looks a little funny connected to that right there. So you want to have that centered so it makes a better look. It just looks like that's how it's meant to be. Now these, if you want them to just be more like borders, you can do them like that as well. Like let's say I didn't want the bougainvilleas and I just want a beautiful border that's just a little bit more narrow and fancy. Then you can do that, you know, as long as you want it to go. And I do like to use these again for corners of things that you want to highlight a corner. Now clearly not right in this corner, but you can see how that would be a nice corner edging that you wanted to do. Here I don't happen to have anything I want to highlight in the corner, so that's why I like to have it the way it is, where just these are super full and fun, and then these would be alternating between the bougainvilleas, which I think I've got it in the wrong spot. There we go. Put this back. The poppies, I love these too, but you have to use these sparingly. They don't look as good all in a row, so they need to be used sparingly. Like, for example, here I've used them kind of in a triangle to finish off the other planting styles, decorations, but they're not just all in a row by themselves. Now you might like that style. It's totally fine. This I love because it's a nice edging too. These squared off things are great. This was from the Mexico set. The pineapples are nice for filler as well, for a square thing. I've got this back here. You really shouldn't do that. I mean, I don't say you shouldn't do that, but it doesn't look as good when you can see through that little line. It's better to have something bushier there that just adds some depth without the little extra white peeking through. It just doesn't make sense of the shadow. You could even do this back there and it would look better. See, there, because it's just the greens and the reds that kind of pop through a little bit. So that would look better in that space than having the white little flower bush, and that would look better in that corner. I hope that makes sense. Let's take a look and see some other landscaping items that I have. Of course, my trees, as I've mentioned before, I do like to bunch them and always kind of do tall and then fade down so it has a nice effect. And I love to combine all the colors. We've got Rainbow Grove here, the myrtle tree, the yellow tree, magnolia, and this little white one. These also make a nice trim if you want the yellow to trim around things. I personally just like the tops of them though. So I find it difficult to find them to place well. All right, another thing that goes well with these little white bushes that connect is to put the red ones in between. Now these will make pathways as well, but I don't really care for that style of flower path because that looks more like someone's just dumped the rose petals and got the candles. I don't know when I would ever use that. So I do like these, but I like them separated out instead, and then again connected kind of like with these little walls of flowers. I feel like that's a better combination for those flowers right there. Obviously balancing out this swing as with these flower arrangements from the June set. Now here's a good way of displaying the little round tree, because you've got a natural corner here for it to go in, and you're kind of matching the circle style. So you've got that little octagon shape, but it's kind of more circular, not squared off, and a little bit of a curve in the path. So it just goes nicely. It's just nice for your eye to see. So I like that there. The other way again with these square pathways is they just make great edging. So when I need to connect roads, use some tile here. I've got these tiles squared off, and then on alternating corners we've got these two flower planters, one with the corgis and the others with these other flowers. It matches perfectly with a flower shop. And it also helps to make this just pretty symmetrical pathway design here, add some interest. So it's not just road, but you've got kind of little interesting features where people can walk here, and it's balanced. And then I've got, of course, these other little flower shop areas and people. I added the little flower wheelbarrow there because it's nice how it tapers. You see how it kind of angles to a point where it draws your eye? It's always just nice to do it like that to start, kind of have a taller item, that bushy, and then they kind of taper down, if that makes sense. Hope I'm making sense, not being too cryptic. Love the flower primrose fence. It's gorgeous. That goes well. Again, I've got my pathways. Anytime I have a path coming out from these going this direction, I like to use those flower pathways. They're just gorgeous. Actually probably need another one here instead of the tiles. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but that'll probably end up going with my Veneset, and I'll put my other flower path going in that little section there. This grass is also nice, but it needs to be up against things. You don't want to have your grass right up against a bare edge, because it makes it just look funny to have those harsh edges. This is the guy mowing the lawn, so we're pretending that he's already mowed all this other part where they're playing, and now he's doing this section, and they're doing the yard work as well. Here's another way I've done a little alignment here. I've got my corner little bushes here, the conical trees, and then these blooming, these are kind of framing out the house, and then we've got the little poppy patch on either side of them, again just framing it out even more. I've got the same little thing, the yellow bush with the two white, and you see how it makes that corner because it matches with the path, the wishing well, and then again I finished it off with the corner, but this time it's kind of the circle. So instead of just that, we've got a little circle plus our two red bushes there. So I hope that gives you some ideas of how you can landscape your own areas. and really make use of those beautiful plants and flowers. I do love that Wooga has made it so that they connect and you can interconnect them in so many unique and beautiful ways. So enjoy. I'd love to hear your comments about what you like to do with your flowers and maybe see ideas. Thanks.